The massive alien fleet hung in the darkness of space like silver daggers pointed at Earth. Captain James Miller stood on the bridge of the USS Thunder, humanity's newest warship, watching the alien vessels on his screen. The aliens called themselves the Vex Empire, and they had come with one simple message: surrender or die. "Sir, we're receiving another transmission," Lieutenant Kate Brown said from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. The main screen flickered to life, showing the alien commander. The creature looked like a giant mantis made of blue crystal, its many eyes glowing with cold light. "Humans of Earth," it spoke through the translator, its voice like breaking glass. "You have 1 hour to surrender. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our shields. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. You will be the 1,001st. Captain Miller turned to his crew. "Open a channel to all Earth forces." "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Miller to all units. The aliens want us to surrender. They think we're weak. They think we're primitive." He paused, looking at each member of his bridge crew. "They've never fought humans before. They don't know what we're capable of when our backs are against the wall. They don't know about our secret weapon." The secret weapon wasn't what the aliens expected. For the past 50 years, Earth had been preparing, not with bigger guns or stronger shields, but with something far more dangerous: human creativity and determination. Every military mind on Earth had studied the problem. Every scientist had worked on the solution, and they had found it. "Sir, all Earth forces report ready," Lieutenant Brown announced. "The orbital defense platforms are online. The moon base is standing by. The submarine fleet has surfaced in international waters." The alien commander appeared on screen again. "Your hour is nearly up, humans. What is your answer?" Captain Miller stood up straight. "Commander of the Vex Empire, I am authorized to speak for all of humanity. Our answer is simple." He took a deep breath. "No." The alien's many eyes blinked in what might have been surprise. "Then you have chosen death. Our analysis shows your weapons are 500 years behind ours. Your shields are paper. Your ships are toys. This battle will be over in minutes." "You're right about one thing," Miller said with a small smile. "This battle will be over in minutes, but not the way you think." The alien commander made a sound like grinding metal, perhaps their version of laughter. "You amuse me, human. Very well. We begin our attack in 60 seconds. Prepare your people for slavery or death." The screen went dark. Captain Miller turned to his weapons officer, Commander Tom Wilson. "Tom, is Project Hammer ready?" "Yes, sir." "All stations report green lights. The virus is loaded and ready to deploy." Project Hammer was humanity's answer to superior alien technology. Instead of trying to match their weapons, Earth's scientists had done something unexpected. They had studied every piece of alien technology they could find, every signal, every transmission, and they had discovered something remarkable. Alien computer systems had no defense against human computer viruses. Their technology was so advanced, they had never needed to develop cybersecurity. They had never faced an enemy that fought with code instead of cannons. 30 seconds until they attack," Lieutenant Brown called out. Captain Miller sat in his command chair. "All ships, all stations, prepare to execute Project Hammer on my mark." The bridge grew quiet. Everyone watched their screens, waiting. The alien fleet began to glow as their weapons powered up. Their shields shimmered like soap bubbles in the darkness. 10 seconds, Brown counted down. 9, 8, 7. Miller's hand hovered over the command button. Everything humanity had worked for came down to this moment. If Project Hammer failed, Earth would fall. But if it worked, 3, 2, 1. "Mark," Miller shouted, pressing the button. And in that instant, everything changed. The battle for Earth had begun, and it would be unlike anything the Vexi Empire had ever encountered. The moment Captain Miller pressed the button, thousands of hidden transmitters on Earth activated at once. They sent out a single powerful signal that spread through space like an invisible wave. The signal looked harmless, just random noise to anyone listening. But hidden inside that noise was humanity's greatest weapon, a computer virus designed specifically for alien systems. The virus hit the Vex fleet in less than 3 seconds. On the bridge of the lead alien ship, Commander Vex watched his control panels flicker. Strange symbols appeared on their screens, human letters and numbers, racing across their displays. "What is happening?" the commander demanded, his crystal body flashing red with anger. "Unknown, Commander," his second officer replied, frantically touching controls that no longer responded. "Our systems they are not obeying. Something is taking control." The virus spread through the alien fleet like wildfire. It jumped from ship to ship through their own communication network. The Vex had linked all their vessels together for perfect coordination. Now that same link became their weakness. Within 30 seconds, every single alien ship was infected. Back on the USS Thunder, Lieutenant Brown watched her screen with wide eyes. "Captain, it's working. Their shields are dropping. Their weapons are powering down. Their engines are reversing." Captain Miller stood up, watching the tactical display. The mighty alien fleet, which moments ago had been ready to destroy Earth, was now in chaos. Ships began spinning in circles. Some flew backward. Others crashed into each other as their navigation systems failed. Their proud formation broke apart like a house of cards in a hurricane. "Commander Wilson, target their weapon systems while they're down," Miller ordered. "Fire everything we have." "Yes, sir." Wilson's fingers flew over his console. "All weapons firing." Earth's response was swift and brutal. Missiles launched from orbital platforms. Laser beams shot out from moon bases. Even old nuclear submarines fired their ancient but still deadly weapons skyward. Without their shields, the alien ships were vulnerable. Explosions bloomed across the alien fleet like deadly flowers. But the virus wasn't done. It had been programmed, not just to disable, but to learn. It found the alien communication system and began broadcasting Earth music at maximum volume inside every alien ship. The sound of human rock and roll, classical symphonies, and pop songs filled the alien bridges. For creatures with sensitive hearing, it was torture. On his command ship, Commander Vex covered his sound organs, the noise unbearable. "Make it stop," he screeched. But his crew couldn't help. They were too busy dealing with their own problems. The virus had found the life support systems and was randomly changing the temperature. One moment the ship was freezing, the next it was burning hot. "Commander, we must retreat," his second officer shouted over the blaring music. "We cannot fight like this." But retreat was impossible. The virus had locked their navigation systems. Some ships tried to jump to hyperspace, only to find their drives spinning up and down uselessly. They were trapped, sitting ducks for Earth's counterattack. Captain Miller watched the destruction with grim satisfaction. "Time check, Lieutenant Brown." 6 minutes since the battle started, sir." 6 minutes. The mighty Vex Empire, conquerors of 1,000 worlds, were being defeated in 6 minutes, but Miller knew they couldn't let up. "All forces continue firing. Don't give them time to adapt." The virus, meanwhile, had found something interesting in the alien computer cores. The locations of all Vex colonies and military bases. It immediately transmitted this information back to Earth. Now humanity knew where every enemy stronghold was located. The hunters had become the hunted. On the alien flagship, emergency lights flashed in colors humans couldn't even see. The commander watched his proud fleet being torn apart. Half his ships were already destroyed or disabled. The rest were helpless, their crews fighting to regain control of systems that now obeyed human commands. "How?" the commander whispered to himself. "How is this possible?" His answer came when the virus found the ship's historical database. It began displaying images from Earth's history on every screen. Humans fighting against impossible odds and winning. The American Revolution. The Battle of Thermopylae, Stalingrad, stories of human determination, creativity, and their absolute refusal to surrender. The message was clear. Humanity didn't win through superior technology. They won through superior thinking. While the Vex had relied on their advanced weapons, humans had found a different path to victory. They had turned the alien strength into their greatest weakness. 8 minutes into the battle, the Vex fleet was in ruins. Burning hulks of alien ships drifted through space, leaking atmosphere and debris. But the surviving ships suddenly stopped their chaotic movements. On the bridge of the USS Thunder, Lieutenant Brown frowned at her console. "Captain, something's happening. The remaining alien ships they're shutting down their main systems." Captain Miller leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "They're going dark, sir. Turning off everything, except life support." Brown's eyes widened. "Sir, they're trying to purge the virus by doing a complete system restart." Miller's jaw tightened. The aliens were smarter than they looked. By shutting down everything and restarting from protected backup systems, they might be able to clear the virus. "How long until they're back online?" "Unknown, sir. Could be minutes, could be hours. We don't give them minutes." Miller turned to his communications officer. "Signal all forces. Phase 2 begins now." Phase 2 was the part of the plan nobody talked about. While the virus did its work, Earth had prepared a physical assault. But not with ships or missiles. With something the aliens would never expect. Boarding parties. All across the Earth fleet, small pods launched toward the disabled alien vessels. Each pod carried a team of Earth's finest soldiers, trained for this exact moment. They wore special suits designed to work in alien environments. They carried weapons that were primitive by alien standards, but absolutely deadly in human hands. Sergeant Mike Johnson led one of these teams. As his pod attached to an alien hull, he checked his rifle one last time. "Remember, people, we've trained for this. The aliens are big, but they're not used to close combat. They've always relied on their technology. Well, their technology is gone. Now it's just us and them." His team of 6 soldiers nodded. Private Lisa White gripped her shotgun. "How do we know our weapons will work against them, Sarge?" Johnson grinned. "Because physics is physics. A bullet is a bullet. And humans have been perfecting the art of violence for thousands of years. These aliens are about to learn why Earth's children never lost their warrior spirit." The pod's cutting laser finished making a hole in the alien hull. Air rushed out, then stopped as emergency fields activated. Johnson was first through the breach, rifle raised. The corridor beyond was tall and narrow, designed for the mantis-like aliens. Strange lights flickered overhead, emergency power struggling to compensate for the virus-damaged systems. They moved forward quickly and quietly. Around a corner, they found their first group of aliens. 3 Vex soldiers stood guard outside what looked like an important door. They held energy weapons, but the weapons were dark and useless, drained by the virus. The aliens saw the humans and froze, clearly not expecting to face boarders. That moment of hesitation was all Johnson needed. 3 shots from his rifle, 3 aliens down. The bullets tore through their crystal bodies like they were made of glass. "Move," Johnson ordered. His team rushed forward, stepping over the shattered remains of the aliens. Similar scenes played out across the alien fleet. Human boarding teams swept through ship after ship, facing little resistance. The Vex had never developed hand-to-hand combat skills. Why would they, when their technology could destroy enemies from light years away? But now, without their technology, they were helpless against humans who had spent millions of years evolving as hunters and fighters. On the alien flagship, Commander Vex received reports of the boarding actions with growing horror. "Impossible," he said, his translator struggling with the concept. "They're inside our ships, fighting with projectile weapons? Chemical explosives?" "Yes, Commander," his second officer confirmed. "They're using primitive kinetic weapons. Our bodies have no defense against them. Our soldiers don't know how to fight this way." The commander's many eyes focused on the tactical display. In 10 minutes, humans had destroyed or captured 70% of his fleet. His great invasion force, meant to conquer Earth in hours, was being systematically destroyed by beings his people had dismissed as primitives. "Commander," his communications officer called out, fear in his voice. "The humans are broadcasting again." Captain Miller's face appeared on their screen. "Commander Vex, this is Captain Miller. You have 2 minutes to surrender unconditionally. If you refuse, we will destroy your remaining ships and send a message to your empire that will ensure they never threaten Earth again." The commander wanted to refuse. His pride demanded it. But as he looked at his dying fleet, he knew the truth. The humans had won. Not through luck or chance, but through careful planning and ruthless execution. 12 minutes had passed since the battle began. Commander Vex stood in his ruined bridge, surrounded by the debris of his shattered ambitions. The music had finally stopped. The humans had turned it off once they were sure of victory. In the sudden silence, he could hear the distant sounds of human soldiers moving through his ship, methodically securing deck after deck. "Commander," his second officer spoke quietly, "we have lost. If we do not surrender, they will destroy us all." The commander's crystal body dulled with defeat. In 1,000 years of conquest, the Vex Empire had never lost a battle. They had never even come close to losing. Their technology had made them gods among the stars. But these humans, these impossible humans, had found their weakness and exploited it without mercy. "Open communications," the commander said, his voice heavy with resignation. Captain Miller appeared on the cracked view screen. Behind him, the human bridge crew worked with calm efficiency, no celebration, no gloating. Just professionals doing their job. "Captain Miller," the commander began, forcing himself to speak the words that burned like acid, "the Vex Empire accepts your terms. We surrender unconditionally." Miller nodded once. "Smart choice. Order all your remaining ships to power down completely. Any ship that doesn't comply in the next 30 seconds will be destroyed." The commander turned to his communications officer. "Send the order." Across the remnants of the alien fleet, ships began shutting down their engines. Lights went dark, weapons powered off. The great invasion force that had come to conquer Earth now floated helpless in the void. "Now," Miller continued, "you're going to send a message to your empire. Tell them exactly what happened here. Tell them that Earth is off limits forever." "They won't believe it," the commander said. "A primitive world defeating our fleet in minutes? They'll think it's a trick." Miller smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "Then we'll send them proof. Lieutenant Brown, transmit the battle recordings to their homeworld. Everything. Let them see their mighty fleet destroyed by humans they called primitive." The commander watched as his communications system, still partially controlled by the virus, began transmitting data toward Vex space. The complete record of their humiliation, broadcast for all to see. His disgrace would be known throughout the Empire. "You don't understand what you've done," the commander said. "The Vex Empire controls 1,000 worlds. They will come for revenge." "Let them come," Miller replied calmly. "We've uploaded your entire database. We know where every one of your worlds is located. We know your weaknesses. We know your strengths. And now we have your technology to study." He leaned forward. "But more importantly, your empire now knows what humans are capable of. We defeated you in 14 minutes with a computer virus and bullets. Imagine what we could do if we really tried." The weight of those words settled over the bridge like a shroud. The humans hadn't even used their full strength. This had been a warning, not a war. Sergeant Johnson's voice crackled over Miller's. "Communicator. Captain, we've secured the alien flagship. No casualties on our side. The aliens surrendered as soon as they saw us." "Good work, Sergeant. Hold position." The commander's many eyes focused on Miller. "What happens to us now?" "You and your surviving crew will be taken to Earth," Miller said. "You'll be treated according to our laws of war. No harm will come to you if you cooperate. Some of you might even be allowed to return home eventually to carry a message to your empire." "What message?" Miller's expression hardened. "That Earth is protected. That humans, despite being young in the galaxy, are not prey. We are predators. We are warriors. We are survivors. And anyone who threatens our world will face the same fate as your fleet." The commander said nothing. What could he say? His people had come as conquerors and were leaving as prisoners. They had expected an easy victory and found instead their worst defeat. 13 minutes, Lieutenant Brown announced. The entire enemy fleet is secured. 13 minutes. That's all it had taken to defeat the mighty Vex Empire. But the commander understood now that the battle had been lost before it began. The moment they had dismissed humans as primitive, They had sealed their fate. Humans might not have the most advanced technology, but they had something far more dangerous: the ability to adapt, to think creatively, and to turn any situation to their advantage. 14 minutes. That was the official time recorded in history books. 14 minutes from the first shot to complete victory. News of the battle spread across Earth like wildfire. Cities erupted in celebration. People danced in the streets. Humanity had faced its first real threat from the stars and had won decisively. But in the command center of Earth's Defense Force, the celebration was muted. General Robert Smith stood before a wall of screens, each showing different alien prisoners. The Vex survivors had been brought to secured facilities around the world, treated humanely but kept under strict guard. "Show me the commander," Smith ordered. The main screen switched to show Commander Vex in his containment cell. The alien sat motionless, his crystal body dim with defeat. Smith activated the communication system. "Commander, I'm General Smith. Earth Defense Force, I need you to understand something." The alien's many eyes turned toward the camera. "What more is there to understand? You won. We lost." "That's not enough," Smith said firmly. "You need to understand why you lost. It wasn't luck. It wasn't because we're stronger or smarter. You lost because you made the same mistake every bully makes. You thought being powerful meant being invincible." The commander shifted slightly. "We had conquered 1,000 worlds. Worlds that gave up," Smith corrected. "Worlds that saw your technology and surrendered without fighting. But humans? We've been fighting since we climbed down from the trees. We fought ice ages, we fought predators, we fought diseases, we fought each other. Every challenge made us stronger, smarter, more determined." Smith pulled up historical footage on a side screen, images from Earth's past. "When you threatened us, you activated something deep in our DNA. The same spirit that led our ancestors to hunt mammoths with stone spears. The same determination that built civilizations in hostile environments. The same creativity that took us from caves to space stations in a few thousand years. Your virus," the commander said slowly. "How did you create it so quickly?" Smith almost smiled. "We didn't. We've been preparing for 50 years, ever since we detected the first signs of alien life. We knew someone would come eventually. Someone would see Earth as an easy target. So we prepared. Not just weapons, but strategies. We studied every possible form of attack and defense. The virus? We had hundreds of versions ready, each designed for different types of technology." The alien's body flashed with what might have been surprise. "You expected us? Not you specifically, but someone like you. Bullies are the same everywhere. Whether they're in a school playground or commanding a space fleet. They rely on fear and intimidation. But humans?" Smith shook his head. "We don't intimidate easily. Push us into a corner and we become the most dangerous species in the universe." The commander was quiet for a long moment. "What happens now?" "Now you go home," Smith said. "You and a select group of your officers. You'll carry a message to your empire and every other species thinking about threatening Earth." "What message?" Smith's expression was deadly serious. "That Earth is under the protection of humanity. We don't want war. We don't seek conquest. We just want to be left alone to grow and explore. But if anyone threatens us, if anyone comes to our world with hostile intent, they'll face the same fate as your fleet. Or worse." "Worse?" "You got our gentle response," Smith explained. "We used a virus and boarding parties. We could have used nuclear weapons. We could have used biological warfare. We could have sent our own fleet to your home world. Yes, we can do that now, thanks to your navigation data. We could have ended your entire civilization. But we didn't, because humans, despite what you might think, prefer peace. But we're very, very good at war when we need to be." The commander's color shifted, understanding dawning. "You're sending us back as a warning to others." "Exactly. Tell them about Earth. Tell them about humans. Tell them we're not aggressive, but we're not victims either. Any species that wants to trade, to share knowledge, to be friends, they're welcome. But anyone who comes here with weapons..." Smith let the threat hang in the air. The screen went dark. In his cell, Commander Vex sat in silence, processing everything. The humans hadn't just defeated his fleet. They had sent a message to the entire galaxy. Earth was not to be touched. The little blue planet, with its primitive-seeming inhabitants, was perhaps the most dangerous world in the universe, and everyone would know it, because the Battle of Earth had ended in just 14 minutes.